Good evening. I'm excited to have the opportunity to speak to you after several technical difficulties. I am nonverbal. I won't look you in the eye. I am non-social, and a piece of string is my favorite toy. And when my needs are not met, I will probably act out inappropriately. But I am not naughty. I am autistic. This is the subject I'd like to share with you tonight. Children with autism. My hope is that I will be able to bring some knowledge and awareness about this disability that is often misunderstood due to lack of knowledge. I have worked with autistic children for the last 7 years, and my hope is to return to working with them in a more professional capacity after obtaining my bachelor's degree in psychology. It is truly my passion to work with these children. I have had many experiences throughout my career of working with them and teaching them the necessary tools and strategies to succeed in their daily lives. Behind me, which is a little blurry, is the national symbol for autism, which is the multicolored puzzle. And the reason for that being the symbol is because it shows the diversity of each and every shape of the puzzle piece as in relation to the diversity of each and every one that suffers with autism. Autism affects 1 in 88 children and 1 in every 54 boys. It is not yet known for sure why this disability is more prevalent in boys. Some researchers believe that it is due to the differences in the makeup of the male brain and genetics, and it is a matter of neurobiology. Autism is the fastest growing developmental disability, and to date there is no cure. I would like to share with you some common characteristics of autism so that you may be more able to understand the challenges of autism. First, there is the social struggles. Deviant social behavior, meaning they do not really connect to the society around them other than caregivers and parents and siblings. Most generally, they connect to those who are regarded as their primary caregivers. Autistic children do not interact with peers and prefer to have family members as their playmates or friends. These children generally have trouble in the social world. Researchers believe that this is because they do not have the ability to understand the desires and feelings of others. They avoid eye contact with others. They see no connection in making the eye contact. There are physical aspects to autism. There is language interpretation. These children are generally nonverbal. Autism is most often than not inhibits the ability to successfully filter information through language. In the lack of speech comes visual learning. This is very successful for autistic children. This gives them daily schedules of pictures of each individual activity and represents to them, what their day will be made up of. As you can see, this has different activities. And this also helps them to transition between activities because it shows them a visual picture of what is coming next. Another aspect of language, or the lack of language for autistic children, is echolalia, which is defined as a repetition of words that have been said, usually by someone around them. A lot of times mom or dad will say something, sometimes the night before, sometimes days before, and the children will, out of nowhere, begin to repeat that phrase. Then there are sensory issues that autistic children struggle with. All 5 senses are hypersensitive. An autistic child sitting in a classroom may hear the faintest buzzing in the fluorescent light above their head. At the same time, they might hear all of the activity that's going on in the room, the voices of the children and teachers. They may also, on top of that, hear the milk truck backing up in the parking lot with the backup beeper going on. And they may also even hear a train down the road coming across the tracks. The rigidness of a chair can sometimes be distracting to a child, unable to sit, unable to focus. It can often bring them just complete distraction. Light touching for them is a bad thing, often causes agitation for them, something that we see as, the rest of us see as a touch of affection, can be very disconcerting to them. Typically a technique that professionals use and therapists use is a technique called deep pressure, which helps their neuroreceptors and their joints relax and helps them bring them back together physically. Most autistic children are classified as being especially tactile, which means perceiving things by the sense of touch. And they are often enthralled by the feeling of a bumpy surface, the stretchiness of silly putty, or the silkiness of a ribbon can turn their attention solely to the object. There's also the proprioceptive sense, which refers to the sensory input and feedback of the body in position to its surroundings. It comes from receptors found in our ligaments, joints, and body tissues. Often these receptors function improperly in autistic children. Therefore, we may see behaviors such as slamming into walls or throwing themselves against objects, or sometimes even classmates. What is seen as crazy behavior to us and inappropriate is actually serving a purpose for them. It is giving them some idea as to where they are in their surroundings. There are also emotional aspects in the realm of autism. Anxiety disorder is a very common factor of autism. These children often exhibit behaviors of hand flapping, which kind of looks like this, often called stimming or stimulating behavior. Some researchers believe these are a coping mechanism to help lessen their stress. Autistic children often experience frustration and or sadness due to the inability to express themselves through language and appropriate expression of emotions. In essence, they are still human, just like we are, and the frustration that they feel, if not dealt with through language or expression of emotions, will manifest itself in some sort of behavior. Sadly, lack of socialization is a reality when it comes to autistic children. Autistic children will never experience the joy of lasting friendships, as their minds do not process the value of peer relationships. And it is likely that a child with autism will never experience the reward of complete independence in adulthood. Generally, they will always require some form of outside support or help for even partial independence. In conclusion, children with autism face many challenges every minute of every day, challenges far beyond what any of us can probably even imagine. Despite all these characteristics that I've discussed that make up the developmental disability of autism, it certainly does not define who they are as individuals. In the diagnosis of this disorder, many generalizations are made about these children. However, we must remember that autistic children are as individual as each of us. Within the autistic child is an intelligent, loving, and worthwhile human being. And they are truly beautiful people. And thank you for listening. Good night.